Do you know what? Yeah, it's actually been an absolute mad sort of week because we've had Bad Boys 3, which is Bad Boy for Life, come out on the Friday. The Friday? Yeah, the Friday from when I was recording. I'm recording this on the Tuesday. So last Friday it came out. Stormzy absolutely going crazy with his freaking promo tour over in America. And it got me thinking, like, I had these questions with so many people. Was like, do we actually need America? Because I'm sitting here and thinking the recent success of the UK, music wise, film wise, and I think there's one thing that we're missing, and we're going to get into it on this podcast today because I want you guys to get involved. I want you guys to let me know what you guys think. So before we do that, what is going on, people? It's me, Lamar Aaron. Welcome to the MixKult podcast. Come on, bruv, episode 7. I think we found our feet. We're getting into the swing of things. If you haven't listened to episode 6, make sure you go listen to that now. I think it's Love Island and Relationships in 2020. Can they last? So make sure you go check that out. Like I said, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, and we're also on YouTube. So make sure you're following across all platforms. And of course, you can follow me personally on Instagram. You can also follow me personally on Twitter, and you can also follow the page of this podcast, which is the MixKult, which is MixKult _ on Instagram. But as I said, so much success has been happening for the UK, obviously, and with Stormzy going across doing his interviews with Charlemagne the God, Hot 97, Rat Radar, not Rat Radar, what's it called? Tidal, sorry, Sway. And then obviously Bad Boys 3 came out on a Friday, and just it just really got my brain going, and I really just kind of want to get it off my chest, and I want people to kind of engage with me. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know across Twitter as well. Use the hashtag the MixKult podcast. But do we actually need America to be successful? A lot of people would say we do. A lot of people would say we won't. For me, I look at it as I think we should be strong enough to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. I think we've been able to create our own things in terms of music. We'll create our own things now within the film industry, with Top Boy doing so well, and obviously Rap Story and those types of things. But what I really think is missing in the UK is 100% media. Now, I feel like the media in the UK isn't where it needs to be, for where the culture is growing to. Obviously, there's time for it to happen, and obviously, a lot of people's looking at it as a new thing. But Bad Boys 3 came out on a Friday, and I sat there and I thought to myself, okay, the UK's making all these films, obviously, and all these series, Top Boy and Rap Story and things like that. And I understand that that is kind of where a lot of London culture is at the moment, of the hood life, the street life. But I'm sitting here and I thought to myself, imagine it, like we have such amazing UK actors in terms of Idris Elba, Jason Statham. Is it Jason Statham? I think that's his name. Obviously Ashley Walters, Bashy, all those types of, like, actors that we have access to do these things. Why can't we have an action movie similar to Bad Boys 3? Or not similar, but in a way of a London thing. So I had a conversation with my friend, his name's Chins. We was talking about it, and I was saying to him, look, imagine Asher D, yeah, alongside Jason Statham doing like an action film to stop like UK mafia maybe moves, like, that those types of movies. I'm thinking to myself, why can't we do that? I think that would work really well. Why can't we get Maya Jama in a movie to do a love story with somebody? Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot more things that I think the media in the UK needs to start stepping into and needs to start taking advantage of. And then obviously Stormzy done his press tour across America, as I said. And I sat there and I thought to myself, he gave Charlemagne, for me personally, what I would say, one of the best interviews, one of the best interviews I would see for a very, very, very long time. I feel that to see Stormzy so open and honest, to see Stormzy have a level of conversation. Now, I don't know if that's because of the presenting talents of Charlemagne the God. I don't know. But for me, that interview should have been done over here. An interview like that should have been captivated like that over here. This is obviously why I'm starting the MixKult podcast. This is where I think this podcast can get to. But it's not just the podcast. I feel like there's Chucky. I think Chucky could have had an amazing interview with him. I think obviously I know Dottie had a decent interview on One Extra, so obviously I'm not going to mention that. But I just feel like there's other people that could have got that interview for us. And I think that would have been amazing to have that from a UK presenter. And obviously I understand what people's going to say. It's to reach a bigger audience, but I feel like we can reach an audience from here. You know, I feel like if we made our media strong enough, I think we could. I think there's a lot of platforms out there, and that's just unfortunately for me personally not doing enough. They've done very, very well into getting to a place where they've got to, but now I feel like now you're there. Let's take it to another level. Let's start controlling the narrative for ourselves. Because for me, that's the biggest issue is gaining control of the narrative. Obviously, there's so many stories that you see in the media right now that's portraying people in a bad way. Obviously, within football, you've got Raheem Sterling and a lot of racism things. You've got Jesse Lingard also in football, when they're saying he should be focusing more on doing his footballing career than doing a fashion line. Maya Jama getting caught in the freaking papers for absolute nonsense. You know, and we all know that's the job of what these newspapers do. But what I think, and I know some people are going to dig at me for this, but I'm just going. This podcast is about me being brutally honest. And what I think America has different to what we have here is they have places where they can go to, where the artist can go, where the sports personality can go, where the fashion person can go, where they can control the narrative. That's the most important thing. The narrative. I feel like we need to take that back, especially in the culture where we're at. I feel like for me, we don't have control of the narrative. I feel like Stormzy can say something on Twitter, which has been done before, and people like Piers Morgan, Katie Hopkins, the Good Morning, or whatever kind of platform it may be, they take the narrative and they run with it. But yet, that we have so much cultural platforms um, that I feel can set up things in a way where we can control the narrative. Like, come on the MixKult podcast, we can sit down and have our conversations and have that interview with you, or we can do a private interview for between me and you ourselves, and let us have the narrative. Let me be the presenter that controls the narrative. Let Chucky have that where you can control the narrative. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I understand. I just feel like for me, look, the media in the UK needs to step it up a level. But a lot of that as well, I would say, falls on the personalities themselves. That falls on the artists. It falls on the footballers, because we do understand when it's promotion time and you're promoting an album, or you're promoting a new fashion line as a footballer, or you're trying to promote a game for your club to obviously produce tickets. There isn't many places that there isn't many places that you can go to, number one. But also, number two, when you probably get approached for these things, do you say yes? Because a lot of the time, the people that's approaching you, that's trying to change the narrative and trying to gain control back for the culture, do you give them the time to? For me, it worked in football when Poet and Vuj did what they did for Copenhagen. I feel like that took back the narrative of footballers. It made footballers be seen in a different light. I feel like, you know, musicians need that angle too. I feel like actors need that angle too. Like, imagine whatever's happened with Maya Jama, and obviously her being photographed in the media in a certain way. Imagine her having a place to go to be able to say, whoa, 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 no, this is that, this is this is that, and you have a presenter like myself, like a Chucky, like a Els the Witch, like whoever it may be, being able to have that conversation with Maya Jama, and for our culture, and for the people who's into that culture, into, you know, where I feel culture, like we say, it's more than it's more than just individual industries now. It's a lifestyle in particular, and it's a certain demographic. Let us gain control of that. Let us put that story out for you. Let us have the conversation. Because for me, it's crazy that everybody went nuts to see Stormzy in America and do what he was doing, and I ain't gonna lie, I was one of them too. But then when I took a step back and I actually deeped it, it made me think to myself, well, why was that not done here? Why is that not a conversation being had with one of our presenters to be put across the world? Because you got to remember, YouTube is a place that connects everybody. It connects literally people from Australia. Like, for this podcast, I got people listening from multiple different countries. And big thank you, multiple different countries. So I'm reaching different audiences. Imagine what would happen if a Stormzy came on this podcast. Imagine what would happen if a Maya Jama came on this podcast, and we actually had the conversations that appeals to our demographics, and the thing that you're trying to, you know, let the audience know out there. Let us be the ones to be able to put that story out. Why? Because we understand it the most. We understand it more than anybody. Why? Because this is where we're from. This is what we live. This is the music we listen to, the clothes we wear, the type of football we watch. Football isn't what it used to be. Football was once a game. It was just a game. Now, a lot of people, like I said before, they're in love with the personalities. They're in love with the players. I've done a documentary, which is about, or a short documentary, which is about fan support players more than they do support their own clubs. Because that's a true factor. When it comes to music, the personality of an artist is so important. We love your music, but we also love the story behind you. We want to know where you come from. We want to know the hustle. We want to know, if you get caught in the papers, we don't want to go to freaking Good Morning Britain, Jonathan Ross. We don't want to go there. We want you to come to us. We want us to go on GRM and see it. We want to go on Half Cast and see it. Come to the MixKult podcast and see it. We want to go to Elsa Witch's YouTube channel and see it. We want to go to whoever the person or the personality is going to be. Let us be the ones to put your story out. Let us be the ones to put your narrative out. Because like I said, we understand it. The reason why Hot 97 is so popular is because when artists go there, a lot of the time the Hot 97 presenters, they understand the narrative you are trying to put out. They understand the narrative that you are trying to place to the world. The reason why Tidal does well, because they understand it. The reason why Breakfast Club does well, they understand it. Even though they try to have a bit of banter and a joke and try to get viral moments, really and truly, it's free presenters that understand it. You don't see these artists go into CNN and all these crazy places in America. No, you don't see that. And also, don't get me wrong, they may be wanting to go on these platforms, but those platforms are saying no. Like we don't want your faces on our platforms. You're not the face that we want to put out. Okay, but then come to the people that have set it up, and that's what I think Americans do totally different when it comes to media compared to what we do. I think that's why their outreach is a lot more. Don't get me wrong, they have bigger states as well. But let's think about it. With those bigger states, it comes with more radio stations. Why haven't we got that? Why don't a Stormzy go to Manchester radio and do something over there? Why don't do you get what I'm saying? Like I feel like for me, the media in the UK needs to take a bigger step, and not only that, I think that a lot of the people that moan about the media in the UK, in terms of the artists, in terms of the like I said, the talents, the influencers themselves, go to these places. Be a part of history of building these platforms up, so the next generation of talent or the next generation of wave that comes behind you, they're able to have these places to tell their narrative, so they're not getting caught in the situations that you guys are getting caught in. Do you get what I'm saying? Have a UK films that is going to be transcending for the next generation to come forward. That's not just about gang violence. That's more just about other things that actually happen in everyday life. Like look at my last podcast, Love Island and relationships in 2020. Do they last? Create a movie that creates a narrative on that. Do you get what I'm saying? Create the narrative. Create some. All I'm trying to say is just create something that our generation or the next generation that's coming forward has something to look forward to. Everybody's saying is that, oh, why do we need America? Oh, this sounds Americanized. That sounds American. Because a lot of people are putting America on a pedestal. A lot of people are doing that. So let's, for me, take our narrative, take our stories, and tell them the way we want to. Tell them in a way that connects to the masses. Yes, our demographics probably will be related to more of the gang violence in the hood industry, 100%. But think about it, it's like Jay-Z. When Jay-Z first started, his music from when he first started to him being older, it's changed. Why? Because he's grown with a certain audience as you grow. That's what I feel films need to do. That's what I feel like artists needs to do. Like grow with your audience. We're all experiencing different things and things that are relatable. We love your music, don't get me wrong, but I like the reason why Drake does so well is because he tells different narratives, he tells different stories. It's not just a one-way thing, like. And I think with Stormzy doing what he did, it's amazing. And now he's done that, and it shows that it can be done. I think, like I said, let's take the reins, let's take it back, and let's produce that for ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Like Heavy is the Head album, you don't hear just grime straight away. You don't just hear about the hood straight away. There's other narratives being told. Now I understand there's not many people that may want to listen to that, but there are others that would like to listen to that. There are things that, do you know what I mean? There's other artists that we like to listen to. So our favorite artists will love to see you do different things. We'll love to see you in movies. We'll love to see you. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the UK needs to take control of the narrative, and it starts with you guys. When we come to you, the rappers and all that, when we come to you for interviews, say yes, man. Come to us. Let us control the narrative for you. Do you get what I'm saying? If we're doing a movie, be the ones in the movies. Be a director. Make the story different. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave it here. That's just kind of my stance here, and I kind of just wanted to put the conversation out there, and I wanted you guys to let me know what you guys think. As I said, guys, make sure you guys follow on Spotify. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure that you are a part of the MixKult family, because like I said, we're going to be doing a lot more of these podcasts, and we want you guys involved. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, which is at Lamar Aaron _, and just answer the question, man. Do you think the UK media should be doing more for where we are right now? That's just it. Plain and simple. Like I said, I'm going to leave it there and catch you on the next one. Peace.